Good morning. My lovely old laptop decided to update this morning, so I am still trying to pull up my questions. But I guess it works because it'll give you guys some time to get on here. Hello. All right, I am just going to join with PetFirst and ask my first question just because I already know what it is.
Hi there. Good morning.
Morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Having technology issues, of course, but
You look so warm and festive.
I am very warm.
I love it. This is the time of the year for that kind of coziness.
So I'm super excited that I got to work with PetFirst, and I'm excited that you're here and I get to talk to you. And my followers have questions that I'm eventually going to pull up. But I know the first one I wanted to ask was kind of how you got started with PetFirst and why you wanted to start your journey with PetFirst.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I am
Yeah,
fortunate.
that's my dog.
I love it. Yes. Good morning, everybody.
It's just dog. Come here. Stop.
It's just a regular day.
Oh my God, I know. Will you stop? All right, go for it.
Okay, so I am Katie Blakely. I'm the CEO with PetFirst, and I've been fortunate to be with the organization since we started in 2004. And the reason I found the opportunity so interesting was because, firstly, I had a passion for dogs and cats. I've always been more of a dog person than a cat person, but equal opportunity furry friend, lover. But I knew that there was pet insurance that existed. I knew that the product was a bit complicated and confusing. And so what the founders of PetFirst were interested in doing and why I wanted to join the team was they wanted to simplify the product. They wanted to make it easy to understand and easy to use. And that's been part of our goal for the last 15 years, is to make sure that we have a product that's simple enough that people can understand what it is and how to use it, but also works the way they expect it to.
Awesome. And then tell everybody what exactly pet insurance is and do they need it?
Well, firstly, yes, of course. Everybody who has a dog or cat definitely needs to take a look at pet insurance. Pet insurance is a great way to offset your financial responsibility when it comes to taking care of a dog or cat. They become our family members. Yep. And the worst thing is when you have an unexpected veterinary bill and you don't know how you're going to pay for it. Yep. With pet insurance and with PetFirst specifically, we help alleviate and address that stress so that you can have the peace of mind of just doing whatever is best for your dog or cat. And then we take care of the financial piece. Yeah. So the way it works, it's a reimbursement program. Okay. So you go to whatever veterinarian you'd like to use, a specialist, an emergency vet, even your regular veterinarian, even a veterinarian out of town. You pay your vet at the time of service, and then you file a claim with us for reimbursement. Your vet can fax that claim directly from their clinic. You can text us. You can upload your claim, snap a photo of it, however you want to get your claim to us. And then we'll process that claim in average 3 to 5 business days and get you reimbursement back out to you.
Awesome. That is amazing. And I love how you broke it down for everybody, because that was probably one of the most common questions that I got was, what is it exactly and do I actually need it? So yeah. I agree, people need it and people need to be aware of what it is. And I'm trying to pull it up. I know one of my followers asked, if my dog is a year old, can they still get pet insurance?
Yeah, what is great about PetFirst is we accept all dogs, all cats of all ages and all breeds, so no exclusions. We'll have some pets enroll that are 14 years old. We had a woman who called into our call center earlier this week with a 20-year-old cat. Ooh. So every pet is eligible for coverage. One of the great things is, too, we don't consider past medical history.
Okay.
So even if your dog already has a pre-existing condition or your cat's already wrestling with something, that won't prevent you from getting coverage for them for anything that happens on a go-forward basis.
And that was another question. Somebody had asked if their dog had parvo when they were like 6 weeks old before they got them, would that affect anything getting them pet insurance going forward?
No, that's a great question. So anything that is curable, like parvo or something simple like an ear infection or an upset stomach, even if your pet has that when they're actually enrolling, we wouldn't cover that specific condition, but once it's treated, and if it would pop up in 6 months or a couple of years down the road, that would be eligible for coverage.
Perfect. And my questions are just not pulling up, so this is awesome. I think I sent you some of them last night. Is there anything that I haven't asked you yet that you want to cover?
Well, I think, you know what? One question was about the nature of coverage. So does it cover just everyday visits or only unexpected care? So basically you can decide when you're shopping for pet insurance what's most important to you.
Perfect.
Most of our customers do opt to get the accident and illness coverage alone, which covers that unexpected stuff, everything from diarrhea to cancer.
Yep.
But also we have some customers that say, you know what, I want coverage for the everyday treatments like vaccinations or flea and tick prevention. So we have optional coverage for that as well. So that really gives you a broader spectrum of coverage for those people that want more coverage.
Right. Awesome. And then I know we actually have people that woke up to be with us on this. So I kind of want to ask anybody who's watching right now if they have any questions that Katie could answer for you. I don't know if you will, but I'm trying to give myself more time to pull up these questions.
I think another question that you had sent before was related to cost.
Okay, yes.
So that's a common question, of course. Anytime you find something that seems interesting, well, that sounds great, but how much is it going to cost me? And the answer, just like a lot of things, is it depends. So it depends on, just like other forms of insurance, what are you insuring? So if you're getting insurance on a 15-year-old Mastiff, that rate is going to differ from an 8-week-old kitten. But it does depend on the age of the pet. It depends on the breed. Also, of course, the species. Dogs are going to be a little bit more to insure than cats. And then it depends on where you live. If you live in a more urban area where maybe veterinary care is a little bit more expensive than in a suburban or rural environment, your rate will differ slightly. The average premium that our customers are paying is in the neighborhood of $30 to $40 per month. So that is something that, at times can seem very affordable, and at other times it can seem like, wow, it seems a little expensive. Maybe I should just sort of squirrel that $30 or $40 away in a bank account. But I think when you start talking to people who have had pets, $30 or $40 a month over several years would make sense, but oftentimes it's that 1-year-old dog, it's that 2-year-old cat that will get a chronic condition like diabetes or cancer that you may be wrestling with for the rest of their life. So that's really why we promote pet insurance versus a savings account, even though some pet parents will opt for that route instead, just because insurance will give you that consistent peace of mind, even if you have an unexpected injury in month 1 or in year 10.
And only $30 compared to, I've been to a vet unexpectedly and it was almost $300.
Just to walk in the door of an emergency clinic, it can be $150 just to start a conversation. So
it's definitely worth the investment. I have someone, Haley Rogers, asked, is there like an actual physical insurance card?
That's a great question. And no, there's not an insurance card. And the reason is because you don't have to go to a network of providers. We don't pre-authorize your veterinarian to administer care. Again, you as the pet parent and policyholder decide what's best for your pet. And then you seek that care, and then we focus on the reimbursement part. So we don't take any responsibility for what course of care you decide is best. And I think that's another important distinction with PetFirst. We cover a lot of alternative therapies as well, holistic care. So we'll cover chiropractic care, laser treatments, acupuncture. all the interesting things that are popping up in human healthcare too that can help our furry family members as well, especially when it comes to pain management.
Yes.
There's a lot of creative vets out there, and we're supportive of whatever course of treatment you and your veterinarian decide.
I'm so excited people are asking questions.
Yay!
Another one is from Pause Up Travel. They asked this, you kind of already covered it, but are there in-network vets, or can you go to any vet, and does that include urgent care?
Yes, great question. So there is no network of providers. So you go to whatever veterinarian you choose, and there's no pre-authorization from PetFirst either. So you decide what's best. If you need to go to an emergency clinic on 7 p.m. on a Sunday night, you do just that, and then file a claim with us as soon as you get your invoice. So you do what's best for your pet, and PetFirst doesn't weigh in on that.
Amazing. Another one is from Proud Dog Mom. She said, does a plan then cover a yearly exam similar to a human insurance plan?
So that's where we have the optional coverage that will cover routine care. So the day-to-day maintenance that we hope that you're doing for your pet anyway, which includes the vaccinations and annual exam or a blood panel annually. So the core accident and illness plan will not cover that. That will be focused more on the unexpected care, where you can add the routine care coverage. And it's pretty easy to see, it's spelled out online, that this is the core plan, and if you want to look at adding on the routine care, that's a good option too.
Perfect. And my document finally pulled up, thank goodness. So I asked several times people, and my followers definitely delivered, and they asked some questions. Let's see, I already asked you that one. How does it work? Okay, this is kind of related to the one who had parvo. She said, would it cover my dog even though she had heartworms before I adopted her? So how does it work if you were to adopt an animal, maybe?
Yeah. So we work with a lot of humane societies and animal welfare organizations all across the United States. And often they'll have a veterinarian on site or work closely with a veterinarian. Most of these animal welfare organizations are very focused on just that, the health of the pet. So they do not adopt a pet out that seems to have a condition that can't be managed. So if it is discovered that, you know, your pet had something pre-existing that was treated and has no bearing on their future health, any conditions that pop up as a result or unrelated after that would be eligible for coverage. I think it's also worth noting that we have, again, that relationship with animal welfare organizations. So if you're interested in insuring a newly adopted pet, we will waive the wait periods for your pet's coverage. So typically there's a 14-day wait on illness, but for newly adopted pets, because it can be such a stressful time, and often pets can break out with, you know, an upper respiratory infection or some other like bronchitis type of respiratory condition, we waive the wait on illness coverage so you can get care for those types of things immediately.
Perfect. Another one is, how many dogs can be covered? Is there a limit?
No limit. So we do offer family plans. So you can, just like with human health care, you can put up to 3 pets on one plan, which is a great way to save a lot on premium. But also, if you have a bigger family than that and need to have multiple plans, you save 5% on your second pet or second plan, and 10% on plans beyond that.
Perfect. And then Dog Tails, my friend Katie, is asking, depending on your plan, does insurance cover most of the bill, or does it only cover a percentage of it?
That's a great question. So just like other forms of or other forms of insurance, there's a deductible and a copayment. So the deductible can either be applied per incident or annually. Most people are starting to go towards that annual deductible because you can budget for your out-of-pocket expense. And that annual deductible can range anywhere from $100 up to $1,000. Most people for the annual deductible are looking in the range of $250 or $500. Once that out-of-pocket deductible is satisfied, then we'll reimburse 90% of the remainder. You can adjust to do 80% or 70% as well. But again, just like other forms of insurance, changing that deductible or reimbursement percentage will help control your rate. So if you want to go for a lower rate, you want to raise your deductible to make it more affordable.
Perfect. And someone just said, this is fantastic information.
I'm glad.
So that's great. Let's see. Some other people didn't necessarily have questions, but I do want to say what they said. My friend Jordan said, I've been thinking about getting it lately. Another one said, my parents have it for their dog and it has already paid itself 10 times over. It's a lifesaver. It's definitely worth it. So I want to ask, maybe what would you say to somebody if they were kind of thinking about doing it, but they haven't done it yet? What would you do to convince them why they should do it?
I think it is just a focus on the certainty that something will eventually happen. I hate to be such a pessimist, but my dog Franklin, he was adopted when he was 13 months old, perceivably healthy. He was a mixed terrier breed. And for the first 5 years, no problems. And I even started to wonder, like, am I a person that would say, is pet insurance really worth it if I wasn't part of the PetFirst family?
Yeah.
But then, I hate to say it, but like 2 years ago, the wheels started to fall off a little bit. Just as Franklin's getting older, he's struggling more with colitis and other digestive issues, which visit by visit aren't that expensive. It's $300 to $400, but over the course of the last 2.5 years, we've spent over $2,000 trying to manage his gastrointestinal problems. So it's just, to those people that aren't sure, is it worth it? It's just a reminder that just like people, pets are prone to injury, are prone to illness, and something will eventually happen. And don't put yourself in that situation of having to make the tough decision. Do I take care of my finances or do I take care of my pet? With pet insurance, you can take that decision off the table. Let us focus on the finances and you do what's best for your pet.
Amazing. All right, I'll do one last question just because I've taken a lot of your time this morning.
Oh no, we appreciate it.
And it is from the Dog Mom Co. This is where my coffee mug's from. It's awesome.
Awesome. I love it.
She said, can you cover other animals besides cats and dogs?
We get that question a lot. And unfortunately, we just do dogs and cats. It's interesting, even though there are more cats in the United States than dogs, our book of business of pets that we insure is roughly 85% dogs. So we certainly have more dog moms and dads that are coming and looking at insurance. So we want to encourage those feline parents too to take a look at pet insurance, because even though cats are sometimes a little more evasive when it comes to when they're sick, they go into hiding, where dogs will vomit and wallow around and tell you that they're sick. Cats are just as susceptible to injury, so they need just as much care and attention from a veterinarian as dogs do.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for your time this morning. I think you answered every question. Sorry I had technical problems.
Oh, gosh, no problem.
Just to everyone who's watching, if you haven't read the blog yet, I wrote a blog with them